Hello and welcome to sim.bc, where right now is 14:41. That's right, we're actually in the afternoon this time for the first time since, well, I don't know, a month, a good 30 days or something like that. It's for the first time in a while. Why? Well, because we had double digits internet. I know many people are gonna sit there and be like, what do you mean double digits internet? And with that, I obviously mean that I have double digits both in my upload speed and in my download speed. And that is a godsend. That is amazing. And as you can see as well, I haven't really figured out where to put myself down in my apartment, because we are in the apartment at this point in time. That's right. But I'm actually sitting in my hallway because, well, I just moved in. And yesterday I spent a good 9 hours, just walking around, moving stuff, because obviously we just shoved it all in there. Me parents, they had to go because it's a long drive here and back. And I was just sitting here with lots of boxes in my bed, and I was like, well, this is gonna take some time. So I spent basically from 4 o'clock yesterday till 9. And then I had like a 30-minute break where I ate something between 9 and 9:30. And then I was up until like 3:30 in the morning. So, round figures, we're talking around 11 hours I was up and like trying to fix everything. And probably 8 of them were effective when I wasn't just, walking around looking at stuff and thinking like, what should I take first? What should I do here? What should I make? But that's not going to stop the production either way, because today is episode 149, and I have an idea, right, of what I'm going to do on 150 tomorrow. So we're going to work through the review today. Yes, we are. No matter the circumstances, no matter that my fridge is right there, no matter that I'm sitting, leaning towards the bathroom door. None of that matters, because today we're going to get into the review, because nothing can stop us. Am I right? What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Or sorry, with the new, YouTube algorithm, what doesn't unalive me makes me greater. Am I right, people? That rolls off the tongue. It's just like Luai from PewDiePie. Anyway, gonna get right into it. So, let's start with the one thing that probably everybody wants to know who have followed this series to a point, mate. See, in every chapter, right, of this new ebook that has come out, that has lots of chapters in it, and you're thinking, well, it was a company, not a person, who wrote this. They wrote it from a business perspective, not from the point of view of an academic, workflow, not of an academic source. They didn't want it to be academic, even though they utilized some theory and stuff in it. What is the point of this? And when it comes down to it, when you boil it down, it's marketing. Because why wouldn't it? You can't just make a free ebook, release it, publish it right for free, and say, well, this is for no apparent reason we've done this. Of course not. In their chapters in this ebook overall, they're presenting information in a concise and clear manner. They're going through lots of different informations, like covering lots of different problems. They're also introducing lots of different problems when it comes to marketing, when it comes to your business. Things that you might be a bit weak on, things that people generally are weak on, to take up what the majority of people would like when it comes to, the solution of this problem. And what is the solution of their problems, of these problems that they present? Well, it's obviously logo and branding, with a heavy reliance on logo and how it influences branding. How it influences keeping, retaining, attracting new customers, how it keeps with existing customers, retain those, how it goes hand in hand with your overall business ideas, of your overall business goals. And they're short, they're not more than 10 pages per chapter, and that's like the longer chapters. So I definitely recommend it, giving it a read. But you should keep in mind when you go into it that it is a marketing tool to be doing this. Because sometimes, I think it's except chapter 6 and maybe it's except chapter 6. Except for that chapter, every other chapter has like a paragraph or a page in it where they're specifically saying, right, that here is a problem, you can solve it by going to Tailor brands and do this, this, and this. In every chapter, including, chapter 6, excluding this thing that I just introduced, this paragraph, they also have an end page when they show you, when you can click like go to Tailor brand, where you can see the 3 different stages of making a logo. So they're trying to implement the same thing that they're doing in the chapters, because they're saying that you shouldn't be dead on any social media sites. So they're showing off their YouTube channel, showing off Twitter, showing off their own website, where they are constantly updating. Even if they're not constantly updating, it's within regular intervals. They're also showing off how to find and attract new customers by doing this chapter, by doing this ebook, and even in the chapter, yet again, you can actually click to Tailor Brands and get directly into their site, start making a logo of your own. They're also pushing that you can do this by yourself, but they're also simultaneously saying that it's hard to do it by yourself. Yet again, less is more in this case, and well, showing off more with less, that's just harder overall. Am I right, people? So they basically say that instead of hiring an external partner who is looking at your logo exactly and specifically, just give it to us, because we're lots of people, we're doing this every day, we know kind of what we're working with, right? If you just write, or we know what we're working with, but we kind of know already what you're working with. If you just give us about like a sentence or two about your company, just put it into the website, and the algorithm does the rest. Then we can review it, maybe, if you want to, providing this personal service and this connection to their customers. But it's overall, it's just, it's a marketing tool. So we're just going to get into some of my notes that I've written here. It is marketing in chapter 1. On the last 2 or 3 pages are about how to use Tailor brand and link to their website, of course, that I went through. Good with selling the brand in every chapter, and that is just again key. Almost always 1 or 2 paragraphs referring to the company, but it's done well. Yeah, exactly. But it's done well with the writing and implementation, so that it does not feel forced on you as a reader, but rather natural as a solution to a presented problem. And sometimes they're mentioning 1 or 2 paragraphs, not in order to solve the problem, rather emphasizing a point that they made in a different chapter that they've now carried over to the new chapter, hence connecting those 2 chapters and answering 2 different problems at once. And even though, and this is very smart, because this is something that I realized when going through it, or maybe I just thought so, but if I just came up with it, so to say, maybe it's underlying because I've read the other chapters, but sometimes when you read a chapter, right, chapter 3, it answers something that I previously had a hard time understanding in chapter 2, for instance. Not that I specifically thought that this is a problem they've introduced and not answered. It's more like, this is something that I understand. They've introduced a concept. They have kind of answered it, but they just emphasize the point. They like enforce it in the next chapter as well, simultaneously as they carry over what we've done in the previous chapter and up until that point so far into the new chapter. Something that I knew, something that I'm familiar with already. And they're quite funny too when they're writing. Not only is it like a natural progression of the writing that they're introducing Tailor brands, but they're also introducing some jokes into it to make it a bit more lighthearted, to really show that this is not an academic text. This is not what it's for. It's for you, the people that are trying to tailor their brand around, so to say, because, Tailor brands, obviously, pun intended, mate. But they're trying to tailor their value proposition towards a specific key target of customers. And when they do so, well, I think that being funny hits home to the idea that those are the people who are going to go to their website. People are not that serious when it comes to the academic world. Maybe not serious. Maybe not serious is the bad, like, it's the wrong word, but they're trying to find people who are lighthearted, maybe some people that are passionate but still understand that you don't have to work within the set frame all of the time. Sometimes you need to step out of it in order to think outside of the box. So, funny, just an example of a quote that interacts with the reader, and you read as follows. Or perhaps your company sells shoes, something which has been available for centuries, but you're putting a twist on it, right? By aiming it directly at millennials who love The Simpsons. And then in brackets they've written, okay, we'll leave the ideas to you. And I thought that was quite funny, because that's interaction, right? When you're reading something, they're talking to you. They're breaking the fourth wall by saying, we're just not just the author, we're probably your future supplier as well. Without actually saying that. But when they're saying this, they're saying, well, we as Tailor brands are going to leave the imaginative part to you, coming up with the ideas to you, because you are the people who are going to come up with the product ideas and then come to us for the brand solution, right? To come to us when it's time to make a logo. So I thought it was very nice. And yeah, exactly. And the quote shows that the author is trusting the imaginative vibes and creative mindset of the reader, indirectly attracting a certain type of people to the site, since it's partially marketing material for the company. And I remember when I wrote this, I was like, it's partially, partially um, marketing material for the company, but of course it is marketing material for the company, the entire book, but it's still a good ebook. Oh yeah, it's something as well. In chapter 6, it seems to be the only one so far, and I double checked this, chapter that does not suggest you to be using Tailor brands, and it's instead just sharing good information on what you can do when you have your brand. For the first, it's important not just to sell something, but also telling the customer why they need it, indirect suggesting the usage of Tailor brands, since they have presented this to you in chapter 1 to 5. The second one then is the company is using resources in order to give you, as a consumer of the site, a free tips book of how to use your brand. Something that can potentially benefit competitors as well, but is good for the customers either way. This shows commitment to, one, their own ability, quality, and brand, that they believe in their own product, and two, they focus on that it's the customer that's important, not Tailor brand / the company, not the company themselves, since they're releasing this book full of tips that the competitors probably can utilize when they want to sway you, right, as the consumer, over to their product, over to the competitors, so to say, of Tailor brand. But while they're releasing this free tips book, right, they're yet again not only showing that we're thinking about you, because you can utilize this with other people as well. We're saying we believe in our own ability. We believe in ourselves when it comes to our product. So we think that no matter how free we make it, let's say, no matter which tips we're laying out here, even if it's just in general good tips and in general good information, you're probably going to go to us either way because we're just the best, right? And chapter 7 corrects this by adding an entire page about Tailor brand, summarizing all of the chapters and how to use its service. Excess in comparison to earlier chapters, but then yet again, in the last chapter, it's binding them all together, right? So what I meant by that is, like, chapter 7 kind of had excess information about Tailor brand, since chapter 6 had none of it. And it makes it feel natural, because since you were missing out on it in chapter 6, it only feels nice that, in chapter 7 there's more of it, because you have this balance of like 1 to 2 paragraphs per chapter from chapter 1 to 5. Then you go into chapter 6 where there's none of it, and you know, if you do it like me in your review, you're reading 1 chapter a day, you get to the thought process of, I'm missing something here. And when you come to chapter 7 and start reading about Tailor brands and their suggestions about their own company, you're thinking, this is what I missed yesterday. And then they have more of it than they usually do, because you're already invested in it, since you missed it out yesterday. So just rounding this up before I make my own, statements of what I'm going to change and so on and so forth based on this ebook, is that I think that it is a short, to the point ebook with well-structured chapters, right? Good examples, real-life examples that really connect the idea of a business, and not just a book, but that this is something that you can use in a business, to the reality yet again. So connecting theory to practice. It's a really good marketing material, but I think you really have to keep in mind that it is a sort of marketing material when you go into it. Otherwise, I just think that you run the risk rather, of thinking that this is just marketing, why am I reading this? It's just like a brochure for the company, why should I spend my time on this? And that is a very bad mindset, because you're missing out on lots of good content in the book. But still, I kind of understand where you're coming from if that's your mentality. But just go in with the mindset that this is marketing material, but there are lots of good stuff to take away from this. It's free, so what do I have to lose? It's a low barrier of entry. You could probably utilize this information just by yourself, just by your own, or with potential competitors of the company. However, they strongly suggest, and quite neatly suggest, that you should go to Tailor brand. Yet again, it's marketing material, yet again, just pushing that point, right? Because I've seen people or heard people who have read it, and I've shown it to, and they're like, this is just marketing. And I'm like, I know, but there's so many good things in there. If you just if you just discard that it's marketing for a while and read it again, and they're like, okay, sure, the examples are really good, and what they're taking up makes sense. And if the facts are backed and are true as well, because source criticism, I haven't found that it's not, but you should do your own research, of course. If everything is correct there are lots of good facts that you can utilize as a company when designing a logo, when having a logo in mind. Even if you're going to use Tailor brand, you might be sitting there skissing on your own logo, thinking about what is the most important part based on the chapters. Then you go to Tailor brands and say like, this is the most important parts, and they're like, yes it is. Or maybe they're saying, well, kind of yes, but not in your not in your sector, you should be focusing on this instead, which is why they're good. So yeah, that was like my short review, so to say, the summarization of this. But what do I take away from this experience, this ebook? What will I change or implement? What will I make, what will I use from it? I think that more social media, or do I deem that I can't update them? Maybe. I'm thinking about utilizing Twitter just to, make hashtags and spreading the marketing of the channel that way, because I've heard some other YouTubers who are quite small have said that, well, if you're using the right hashtags and you just leave a link to your video, then sometimes people will find the hashtags that I think are interesting, look at the video, maybe if it's good, they're gonna stay for the video and generate a subscription, right? Not just one view, not just two, but a subscription and a continuous base of upcoming views in the future. And that's not, of course, not the main problem, that's not the main objective of the entire thing, even though it kind of is. But what I want is more comments, because I want this discussion to be created under each video. Like, what do you think? What do I think? What's the contrasting views here between you and me? So something about social media, if I deem to be able to update it regularly, because as we've been reviewing in one of the chapters, it's not good just to have a dead social media channel, because then people are going to view it and they're going to be like, is he even active anymore? And that's not what I want, right? That is not what I want at all. I want something that feels natural to me, that is naturally implemented with the channel, that is marketing the channel in a good way, yet it's not creating additional stress on me. Because sometimes when you just, you launch a video, I've heard some people who say like, oh, I need to go into all of these social media channels, and I probably need to employ someone else to do it, because it's so much. Every time we release a video, there are like 18 platforms that need to be updated, and I don't want to be in that situation. I'm doing this because it's fun, right? Doing this because it's fun and it's good for me on my end. So I thought maybe start with one form of social media, maybe work myself up to two. But this chapter, this ebook, has made me realize that that is a valid, point when it comes to branding yourself and marketing yourself and showing off your logo, so on and so forth. So it's something that I'm thinking about doing in the future. And that was everything for me, mates. Hope that you enjoyed this little review, even though it might have been rambly at times, but it's just, a mixture of me reading off my notes, previous notes, and me talking about what I actually feel like now in this point in time, right? Not previously, not the notes previously, but might have been a bit of a mix there. So just hope that you keep up with the different parts, and please leave your comments in the comment section below of what you thought about the ebook if you've read through the chapters. Yet again, I'm just going to state that this is not a sponsored video. Cannot make sponsored videos, can't take cash, from anyone unless I have 1,000 subscribers. So that's not the case at this point in time. Anyway, please leave your comments what you thought about it, if you read it about yourself, if you've just watched the chapters here on the channel. What did you think about the chapters, and what's your interpretation of what has happened here based on the chapters? Did you have the same understanding as I did? Did you think it was bad? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was too much marketing? Didn't you understand that it was marketing? Did you look away from that? Did you only look at the relevant information? Why not, so on and so forth? Come on, mates, bring a new perspective. It's nice, it's fun, it's better that way. So yeah, as I said, gonna leave you here, mates, and start, working through my apartment again, because there's easily like 6 hours of work still to go, maybe even 12, maybe days, mates. Oh, don't say that. Anyway, I'll be back with you, tomorrow with chapter, oh my days, it's new, with episode 150. Yeah, gonna be a small kind of celebration, because I think in 200 is the new milestone, but 150 is gonna be like, it's gonna feel good, it's gonna be all good, it's gonna be all great. Have a nice one, mates. I'll see you tomorrow.